But I wanted to share some reflections on this 4th of July, 2025, um, and how different 4th of July have been in the past over my lifetime, from being a little girl, hiding under the blankets at the big Mount Prospect, Illinois, fireworks celebrations and only being lured there because of the cotton candy and the little raffle tickets, the little tickets we pulled to see if we could win a stuffed animal or something that was really fun. Um, that was fun. Although the boom of the firecrackers was just so loud. It was so loud that really scared me. Um, and then I would grow to love, of course, the lights and the color. And the 4th of July would then be about, my dad giving us show with flares in the driveway because he carried flares in his car for safety purposes. If he got a flat tire or whatever, he had flares. So he would light a flare or two and we'd have sparklers and I think they were called punks. And they would just kind of glow, and we would, make figure eights in the driveway. And, our mothers and grandmothers our mothers would stand on the porches and act like they were very worried about the fire and the possibility of injury. And, our grandmothers probably were really enjoying watching everybody having fun. I never saw anybody get burned with a firecracker, but I'm sure it happened. Um, those were some different years. Community parades were enormous and wonderful. And, my dad's love of country because he served in the United States Army in World War II. Um, his love of country rubbed off on me because of how much I adored him. So on the 4th of July in particular, each branch of the military that would march by in the parade, my dad would be, hat off, hand over heart, having us be straight up and down. I still don't sit when the Star Spangled Banner is played unless, sorry, I'm very dry while I get used to my teeth. Yes, I have teeth. Um, Anyway, those were some different years. Even as the Vietnam War was raging, on the other side of the globe, and you became more politically aware as a teenager. Here we had this incredible landing on the moon, that happened in July also. Um, we also had some very complex times during those times when I was young, but there's something really different right now, very, very different. The feeling, the words, what's being stirred up among younger people, the fear of the future rather than a planning for a joyous and a full life ahead. At least having that ahead of you on a 4th of July would be good. Having the country be, you know, assured enough in itself to live up to the ideals that were in the Declaration of Independence, even if those ideals were not carried out by the people who wrote it and the people who signed it. I don't think there's any historian I know, and I did get a degree in history, who thinks that, um, that the people who signed the Declaration were all right on the money, because they certainly were not. They slave owners, and the things they did were not right. But the words they inscribed still inspired people and still inspire me today. It's really hard to watch what's happening in the country today with a lot of joy and of any kind. And I hope that some people who are out there and haven't been to the Progressive Democrats of America town halls on Sunday afternoons, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon for me here in Denver. And I'm not plugging because PDA asked me to in any way. Usually I only say a few words. But this Sunday, I'm going to get pretty direct about how angry and how upset and how, how I don't know how to really describe it except, this feeling of the ground moving underneath me, but also understanding the strength and the wisdom and the power of all of us if we stand together. There's one thing I know for certain, and this doesn't rock with any, I'm not pushing Christianity on anybody. That happens to be my faith, doesn't have to be anybody else's. But I keep repeating to everybody that I hear that, my faith, my Christ, only had one command for us, and that was to love one another. That's it. And yet that seems so complicated in this world today, and it's so frightening. And it shouldn't be that way in America. We have clawed our way to the rights that we got and that we achieved during my lifetime. We clawed our way to those rights, getting closer and closer to the things that we wanted to achieve together. And, it really pisses me off to be in this place where I feel like my generation of work is dismissed, discarded. No, no, uh, no. So those of you who may know Progressive Democrats of America, great, join us on Sunday. I'm not going to say a lot more now because I probably shouldn't. I'm just finished. I'm finished trying to be, sometimes people don't want me to talk about this stuff. I'll embarrass them. I'll say things that, maybe they don't agree with. It might get people in trouble. If we don't all start talking to each other and saying what we believe and what we feel, we're not going to we can't accomplish what we need to accomplish. So thanks for listening. Those of you who are listening, Joanne, Catherine, thank you very much. I may try to do this again at some point. And thank you for being here and sending love and peace to folks. And tune in on Sunday.